back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. Thank you for the love, for the support that I have gotten here on YouTube. I really don't take it for granted. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you that subscribe to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew rather a crossing off shoulder. That is, it's an off shoulder dress, but it has a cross. So I'm going to say an off shoulder crossing dress or off shoulder crossing top, and then it's going to have balloon sleeve and with back loops. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. It's a very simple dress. Even as a beginner, you can pull this off. Yes, I say you can pull it off as a beginner. Okay, so registration is ongoing for our online classes. So if you want to register for Stylish Naija online classes, you can send me a message on WhatsApp. So you could see my numbers just scrolling through the screen. Just take a screenshot and then send me a message. So we actually have a new class that we're going to be launching this month, which is the padded Igbo Madam Blouse class. And then we also have other classes. We have the beginners class, we have a ready to wear class for people that want to sew Ankara and sell online, we have an advanced class, we have an intermediate class for people that can sew already that want to step up, and then we have a corset class to sew a perfect corset, and then we also have we have a trouser and a jumpsuit class. So just send me a message on WhatsApp and then I'll give you the details. So thank you so much. So I have some basic lines here which I'm going to explain to you. So this is the fabric that I'm going to be making use of. So I have about 1.5 yards here, and then this I'm going to use for the sleeve. So I'm going to explain. So since it is an off shoulder, so I'm going to drop by 5 inches. So you can decide to use 4 inches, you can use 6 inches. It depends on how deep you want it to be. So mine, I'm using 5 inches. So this is 5 inches. My bust point is 10 inches, and then my under bust is 13. And then the half cut is 16 inches. So these are the lines that I have here. And then here, I have my shoulder measurement, 8 plus 8. This is 16 inches. And then from this point, I measured out my armhole. So I'm using 8 inches. So because of the 5 inches, so I just made my armhole curve there. So the next thing, I will take out the full body measurement. So for the full body measurement, I'm using 9 inches for my bust measurement. My bust is 36. So when you divide 36 into 4, you have 9. This is 9 inches here. So I'm going to add 2.5 inches as my allowance. So from this point, I'm just going to mark like this, and then I'll come to my under bust measurement. So my under bust measurement is 32. When you divide 32 into 4, you have 8. This is 8 inches. And then I'm going to add my 2.5 inches allowance also. I'm going to just mark it to this point. And then for the under bust measurement, for the half cut measure, that's for my half cut, that's my waist line measurement. I have 33 inches. So when you divide 33 inches, you have 8.5. When you divide into 4, this is 8.5. So I'm going to add 2 inches for that, because the dot, I'm going to pleat the dot, and then I'll add 1 inch on this side, just 1 inch to stitch it. So the dot on the down is going to be a pleated dot. So this is just my basic bodice, just for my off shoulder bodice. So I'm going to just cut out like this before we continue. So I'm going to use this to cut out the back. No. So I already have something here, so I'm just going to place it, and then I'll cut out my back piece. While I'm cutting it out, I don't want to cut the back all afresh again, so that is why I'm doing this. So the back does not have zipper, it has loops. So that is why you see that I'm cutting it the same. So this is my back pieces. I'll just keep it on the side. So let's work with the front piece. So for the front, for the neckline, so you are going to start with the shoulder. So the shoulder measurement, I'm using 16. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reduce 2 inches. You can reduce 1 inch, depends on how off you want it to be. So I'm going to reduce 2 inches from that measurement. So I'm using 6 now. So from this 6 inches, I'm going to mark a regular neckline. I'm not going to use this. I'm just using this as a guide. I want it to guide me. So that's why I'm just making like a curve, so that from this point now, we just loop this into my armhole point. So this is now my armhole. So from this point now, I'm going to be creating my cross to this point. So I'm using 2 inches for my dart on this down part. So from this point, I'm going to come like this. So I'm going to determine how open I want my neckline to be, and all depends on the bust point line. This is my bust point, under bust, waist. I'm sorry for not indicating them initially. So from this point, you are going to determine how wide and how open you want it to be. So from this point, I'm going to use about 3.5 inches here, just like my regular 3.5 inches. So from this point, I'm going to be sloping it into this point. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create like a back flip. So you see what I'm doing? I'm going to create it into this point like this. It is a simple process. So I'll use my pattern curve to curve it out nicely. I'm just trying to get a perfect blend. So I'm just bringing everything into this part. So this part is curved. It's not really straight. So I'm going to cut it out, and then I'll check it if I don't like, if the neckline is not open. I use 3.5 inches. If I feel it's not open enough, I can decide to still open it more. I just loop it into that part, and then my dart, I will indicate it. So the dart, I'm using 4.5 inches for my dart. I'm using 2 inches, so this is the 2 inches. So this part now I'm going to pleat this part. So I'm going to cut out the second pieces. Okay, I'm just looking at it. So when you are cutting a cross top, you either use your lining to cut, or you use the pattern paper, because you need 2 pieces. So it's from this dart line part. So I'm going to measure for me to know where I'm going to be placing it. So let me take out my dart first, so that I will show you how to place it. So that's my 2 inches for my dart. So this is going to sit. It's going to sit on this point like this, on this dart point. So I'm looking at my neckline. Is a little bit small, so I'm going to cut it out again. And then this shoulder part, I'm going to cut out this part. I'm supposed to cut out this part. So I'm going to come in by another 1 inch. But this down part, I'm not going to touch the down part. It's just on this part. So at the end of the day, so you see what I have here. So I'm going to transfer this to my fabric now. And then for the back, so for the back, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take out 2 inches from the back because of the back loops. I'm just going to take out 2 inches. I'll cut it out from my pattern paper, and then I'll transfer to my fabric. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to add the back neckline. And so remember the same thing we did. So we're using 6 inches. So this is 6 inches. So from this 6 inches, you are going to determine how deep you want the back neckline to be. So for this back neckline, you notice from the picture that it is a little bit deep. So let's use 8 inches, and it is a round neckline. So you're just going to curve it into, and then you curve this into your armhole. So you see, it is a simple process. So we're going to add our loops here like this. So there's no zipper allowance because it does not have a loop. Sorry, because it does not have zipper, because it is looped. So you cut out. Okay, and then for my dart, I'll add my dart. I'm just going to notch it. So the next thing, I'm going to cut out my lining, and then I'll go and start stitching. Okay, so I'll go and stitch now. So this is the front piece. So for this front piece, I'm not doing an inseam finishing. So I'm just going to stitch this side and then stitch this side. So the armhole part, I'm not going to stitch. So for the back loop, I'm going to stitch the neckline for the back, and then I'll stitch the side. And then on this back side also, I will turn it. So I'll go ahead and go and do that, and then bring it back and show you. Okay, so I finished sewing, so you could see. So it is, our dress is looking beautiful. I like how it is coming up. So from this point, from this that point, that's where you are just going to put it like this, and then you make sure you get your full measurement. So this part now, I'm just going to take it to my machine and then secure. You have to secure it down like this, and then the back and the front, I'm going to join side. I'm going to join the side. I'll join this to this side and then join this to this side. So this is the back part where I'm going to be adding the loops. So for the loops, so after joining, I'll bring it back and then show you how to add the loop. It is a simple process. Okay, so you see I finished stitching. So you see the cross. So you see the back. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to add the loops. So for the loops, I created out on pieces. So you're going to use any fabric. So I just want to add the yellow because I'm going to use it for the sleeve. So you just sew it about 2 inches, just fold it and stitch it straight. So I'm going to add it on the back of my dress. That's on this part. So I'm going to add about three to it. So I'm going to stitch it. Okay. So I'm going to stitch it 1, 2, 3. So they actually have different types of loop. So this is just like the simple and easy one. You call it the local one. Okay. So you have the ones that you do with rings. So let's continue. So I'm going to stitch it on it now, and then we'll go and cut out our sleeve. So you see I've pinned them. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn my lining like this, and then I'm going to stitch it. So with that, the loops, they will be hidden perfectly well inside like this. So I'll stitch it down from here downwards. Okay, so I finished joining my pieces. So see the back. So I've added the ropes on it. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you how to cut out the sleeve. So it's very simple sleeve. It is a very simple sleeve. So for the sleeve, what I'm going to do, you are going to, since it is like a puff sleeve, so you are just going to use your round sleeve measurement to, that's what you use for the top part. That is what you will use for this top part. So I'll get my pen. I'll just, normally the round sleeve measurement I'm supposed to use for her is 10. But because I'm going to use elastic on this part, if I use 10 inches, the paper is folded into two, it's going to be too small. So I'm going to add some inches to it. So I'll now use the elastic to bring it together. So I'm going to use 10 inches. now. So this is 10. Okay, no, let's. Okay, yeah, 10 inches is okay. So you now pull it to be 5 inches with the elastic. So this is like the simplest way of doing an off shoulder sleeve. So I'm just going to take this like this. This is my armhole. I'm going to place the armhole here like this. I'll place it like this, and then I'm going to curve this out like this. So I'll add little allowance to it. So that's my round sleeve, round armhole. So the next thing now, I'm going to, okay, because I'm going to create casing, so I'm just going to come down by 1.5 inches. Because if you notice, you see that that sleeve has a casing. That's this part is going to be folded where the elastic will go through. So I'll use 1.5. So that means I'm going to do this again. So I'll start this now from this point now. So from this point is my casing. So this is my round sleeve measurement. So I'm going to take the length now. So for the length, I'm using 1.5. So note that. So for the length, you're going to determine how long you want it to be. The elastic casing, there's another elastic casing at the down part of the sleeve. So for this, I'm going to use 10 inches. So when I add, I'm going to add another 1.5 inches down. So I'm going to have 11.5 here. So it's going to be like this. So this is my 11.5. So this part, I will gather this part and then gather this part. So from this part now, I'm just going to reduce this part. I'm going to measure for the down part. I'm going to use, so because the round sleeve measurement is 10. So I'm going to use 10 also here. So from this point, I'm just going to take my pattern curve like this. It is a very simple sleeve. So it depends on how big you want it to be. You can decide to add more. If you want it bigger, you add. If you want it smaller, it's just a simple process. So once you pull this part and pull this top, it becomes a puff. But if you want it very big, you can decide to use the slash and spread method. So that will give you a bigger puff sleeve. So I have my case here, and then I have here also at the down part. So I'm going to transfer this now to my fabric, and then I'll show you how to sew it. Okay, so I've cut this out now. So what I'm going to do now, I'll just use this as illustration. So I'll take this. So you remember my 1.5 inches that I made here? I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to that 1.5 inches. I'm going to go and use it to secure this point down, because we are going to pass elastic through here. And then on this part also, this down part also, I will secure here. So I'll just go ahead and do that. And then I'll show you how to pass the elastic casing through it. Okay, so I've done one of the sleeves. So I'm going to explain. So you see, this is how it's going to sit. So you see how beautiful it is looking. So you see our elastic. So you see, so when you put it on, it straps to your shoulder level. So this is the down part. So the next thing now, so this is the sleeve. So this is the top part. So for the top part, you are going to use, we used 10 inches of elastic. So this is 10 inches. So you are going to pass this 10 inches elastic through the top casing. And then for the down part also 10 inches, because my round wrist measurement is 10 inches. So I'll pass it through. So after passing it through, you are going to sew the side. So after sewing, so this is what you are going to have. And then I'm going to go and fix it now, and then I'll bring it back and put it on the mannequin for you to see the final look. So that's just how to pass the elastic through. So I'll use your safety pin to do that. Okay, so at the end of the day, so you see how our off shoulder crossing top, how it came out. That's crossing dress, because it's actually a dress, so it's going to have a down part. So you see how it came out. So for the bust area, that's for the crossing. So in case you see, mine is a little bit open. So in case you don't want yours to be as revealing, opening of the cleavage like this, you can decide not to do the second trimming we did. So you know the second trimming that I added, that I trimmed it more. You can decide to just stick with the first one, so it's going to be okay. And then you see it crosses at the dart line point. So I'm going to turn the back right now. So you see for the back, so you see how the back looks like. So the back is beautiful. So for the loops, I added just 3 loops on each side. So in case you want to add 4, you can add more, depends on how much loop you want. You can add more. And then for this down part, I normally have these questions. They'll ask, how will you now attach this to the down part? So you could see there is space. So because this is a dress, you're going to attach a skirt to the down part. So you see the space here. So this space is where you are going to attach your skirt to. So with that, because of this gap, this inches that you have here, is going to be perfect. And then for the sleeve, so you see for the sleeve, so if you want your sleeve to be bigger than this, you can decide to use the slash and spread method and then make your balloon sleeve bigger. You can see what I'm putting on if you want big ones like this. But if you want just moderate ones, you can just use the same measurement and then do this. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, I will appreciate if you hit on the like button to make me know you appreciate what I did. Yes, what I did with this video, and share this video with your friends. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe.